Friend Barstool Nate about to join the program via the Rude Guest Hotline. Nate, I got an update. So you know our guys from Rude, Jim and Jimbo?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim and Jimbo, my two best friends.
Well, Jimbo texted me to clarify he actually thinks you're pretty funny when you come on. But his dad,
Thank
Jim,
you.
still anti-Nader.
That's fine. I'm still a big fan of their work and their company, and the fact that they give money to this amazing number one rated program in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. What more can you ask of the boys?
How did the snow treat you up there, Nate Dogg?
It's just a minor dusting. Everybody freaks out about snow. What are you going to do? End your whole life because a couple inches of snow fell? Life goes on. I was still at the gym. I was still putting up weight. Nothing changes.
Everything is in his building. He didn't go outside.
Have you been outside?
And if he go outside, the snow, if he step in the snow, it's going to cover his head.
Oh, my heavens. My heavens. We're taking short shots these days, BMitch. I thought we were better than that.
Hey, man, you fell off the curb. Ever since you did that, I got to mess with you.
No, I do walk. I walk 3 minutes to the gym every day.
Wow.
Downstairs.
All right. I want to talk to Duron Jones. Obviously, the Commanders hired a defensive coordinator. And in a lot of ways, they followed your advice. You always say, go to the best place and get the number 2 person. That's kind of what they did with Jones. You excited about it?
I think it's the correct move. Brian Flores, the more I've read about him, he's a psycho. And anytime you can get a psycho's number 2 guy, I love it. The Vikings defense, we know, was very, very good, and they made the best out of the situation that they had in Minnesota. And the schemes that they, put out there on the field in Minnesota was unlike any other defense. And when you looked at what we did in Washington with, very unaggressive, a lot of just sitting back, letting third and longs go for first downs, I like that we should be seeing the opposite of that. I like that we're going to be seeing a lot of aggressiveness, a lot of blitzing, a lot of weird schemes and coverages. And if he brings even half of Flores' intensity with him, people are saying the reason he's not a head coach is because he doesn't get along with anybody because he's crazy. And if we can get even half of that, I love it.
I like that, man. And that is a heck of a line. The more I read about him, he's a psycho. We talked to our boy Kevin Seifert from Minnesota earlier. And
Brian Flores seems to like this dude.
Right.
So I like Duron now already.
What Kevin explained is there's only one Brian Flores. So you can't necessarily just take a Brian Flores scheme and expect it to look the same. Right? Because he is willing to press the gas at all times and do crazy stuff. But it'd be impossible not to think Duron Jones doesn't do something similar, try to force the issue. Yeah. And I think that's what people should be excited about.
A word I'm going to use a lot is probably accountability. I feel like as the season went on, and for many reasons, injuries, lack of depth, lack of talent, just losing a ton of games, we just started seeing a lack of accountability from the defense where just the missed tackles and the lazy plays and the plays off. And I think that's what he'll bring. It's hey, maybe we don't have all the first-round talent on the field, but we're going to tackle like we know how to tackle. The number of lazy tackle attempts we saw last season was just unimaginable. It never ended, especially as the season went on. So if he can bring some discipline and just some, just motivating the defense to make the plays that they're out there to do, automatically, instantly, this defense is better than it was this previous season.
I just look at the way that their defensive backs play and look at the whole team, man. I know somebody yesterday was upset because he was a guy who came from the back end of the defense. I'm like,
DB coach.
The back end first. Yeah. They understand more than anybody in the world how important the front end is. It's not just always the guys up front can tell you about what's back. The back end knows they depend on the guys up front. So I'm sure he understands. And that Brian Flores style defense, in Mike Zimmer style defense, they have to have some dogs up front.
Yeah, and games are won in the trenches, but if you start getting pressure on the quarterback, which we did not do a whole lot of, it makes the defensive backs' lives so much easier, and we'll see, maybe Mikey will turn it around. We all know Mikey just came off of a very, very bad season, but we also know he has a ton of talent, and, you hope that you bring in a guy like Jones who can turn that around and be like, hey, Mikey's not so bad. He can play. He just needs to be in the right scheme with the right guys around him. And I'm very optimistic. I am extremely optimistic until, I have a reason not to be, that this will work.
Speaking of the defense, there's a big Duron Payne conversation going on.
Mm-hmm.
The cap number is what it is, but they also don't have anybody that can replace him. Where are you on Duron Payne? Like, is that something that you think must happen to release him? You think he sticks around? Do you have a strong Duron Payne opinion?
It's hard to have a strong Duron Payne opinion because I think we're all on the same page. Very talented football player. Does he want to be here? Do they want to overpay for him to stay here? Is he part of the plan? Is he part of the process? It's a lot of questions that I personally do not have answers to. In a perfect world, yeah, he sticks around and he plays like he played this last season, which was very well. People are saying maybe it was because it was a contract year. I don't care. He is impressive on the field, and he's a guy I want in my locker room. It's up to Adam Peters to decide if, are we going to give him a mega deal? Is he? I don't think he's too old to get one, but maybe Adam Peters wants to go even more youth. I think I would keep him if I could, but I understand if he's not, on the field next season.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because I don't think it's a must, but I don't think it's a must either direction, and I don't think they have necessarily somebody to replace him. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and that's where I say maybe, what do you have to pay him if you franchise him? Like upwards of $25
No, he's
mil?
under contract. He's under contract with a cap number of $28 million. So it's like...
Right, 28. So you keep him for one season, and you franchise him for another season. Like, there's no real...
You also don't want to have to.
Like, if you don't want to pay the long-term contract, though, it can get dicey.
Well, and he might want some guaranteed money.
Exactly.
So there is his take on this, too.
Let's deal with that when we get to it.
All right, speaking of that, talking with our friend Barstool Nate here on the Rude Guest Hotline. Rude makes the most reliable HVAC equipment in the DMV. I said I was going to do something a little different. This caught my eye, B. Polymarket Sport, which is one of these new prediction markets, they're calling them. It's basically legal betting, but with a whole bunch of weird stuff. You're able to bet on politicians and speeches and how much snow there will be, whatever, right? I think there's some question about the legality of it over the long term. I don't know how it's all going to shake out. Polymarket Sports just tweeted out, someone named Bitcoin to 500K just put $60,000 on the Wizards to beat the Trailblazers tonight. 60 grand on the Wiz.
Nate, that's what you did with that money, right?
I wish.
So here's my question. 60 grand on the money line at plus 230. So 60 grand would net this better, $205,000.
Let me ask you a question.
When you see something like that.
That make the people come looking.
Right?
If they win it, they will be like, hold on, what the hell's going on here? What did somebody tell them? It'd be an investigation.
It's just, you can't.
We're expanding the who again?
Blazers.
The Trailblazers.
You can't help but raise an eyebrow. You know what I mean?
Listen, there are a lot of people out there with a lot of damn money that they got throwaway money. They could do that. Like when we take a chance on something, we say let's put $100 on it. That's their 60.
That's their 6 cents. I mean, I stay away from the poly markets, the prediction markets. It's a slippery slope. I'm a responsible gambler, which, by the way, Seahawks -4 seems like a no-brainer for the Super Bowl. But, I'll say this. I love where the Wizards are at. If you want to talk some hoops, JP, I know that you're not a huge basketball guy like I am, but I love the Washington Wizards.
I'm going Thursday night for John Wall night.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah. I go to games. I go to games in D.C. frequently, Nate.
Yeah, I wish that I lived there. I would be at every Wizards game, especially because this is about to be an absolute wagon of a franchise after we get a top 3 pick in this upcoming draft. This team's going to be unstoppable for the next decade.
Yo, are you aware of Alex Sarr's nickname?
The Eiffel Tower?
Big Eiffel.
Big Eiffel.
Yeah, I mean...
I kind of love it.
Did you see that the Hawks sent down the number 1 pick in that draft because Sarr wouldn't work out for the Hawks, so we got him at 2.
Yeah,
and
they took Risachet.
Yeah, and so he's already down in the G League. It's Alex Sarr gets a statue. like next to John Wall for not working out for the Hawks.
So here's what's crazy about the winter sports teams in our fair city.
Yes.
I think there is a shared sense of optimism around the Wiz among basketball fans.
Yes.
They are 10-34, however, and have lost their last 9. But they understand the assignment, right?
Yes.
What about the Caps? How are we feeling about the Caps? They played a night, I believe, in Seattle. This West Coast road trip, not going great. That loss to Vancouver is really ugly.
That game was ugly.
Where are we at? Caps are right now only 4 points out of the third playoff spot in the Metro.
It's both a good thing and bad thing about how close the East is, where you're always one game out of the playoffs and you're one game out of last place. The Caps, I mean, we talked about it last week. We have not looked good. Injuries aside, the team just on the ice has not looked like a playoff team. I think now we've lost 5 out of the last 6. We got the win in Calgary where we looked good, and then went into Edmonton and just lost in the 3-on-3 overtime. It's been tumultuous, to say the least. It hasn't been the most enjoyable team to watch, to say the least. I still believe in them. I think there's so much talent on this team. Get back the healthy guys, get Ovi some rest, and gear up for the playoffs. I really, really, really want, if this is Ovi's last season, for him not to go out on a whimper. I would hate that. I don't know if we make moves at the trade deadline or what, but I still believe in this Caps team. I think we have the best goaltending in the league. They just have to put everything together. And recently, for the last month, nothing has been together correctly.
Nothing, man. Nothing. We'll see tonight, man. Important game.
I'll be watching.
I did want to switch gears. John Oran from Puck Sports is going to join us in 15 minutes or so. Try to get us up to speed on everything going on at the Washington Post. But I know you, like me, grew up reading the Post and understand what that sports page meant to probably millions, hundreds of thousands of people, and the amount of great work that has come out of that. Like, just as you're seeing all these Post employees kind of publicly talk about what's happening over there, how low is this?
It is a very, very unfortunate. I don't even want to call it like sign of the times, because it doesn't have to be. I think, the Washington Post especially is so important, and the sports section, which you and I both, grew up with, and it's been so vital to so many people's lives. I don't understand how you can just snap your fingers and get rid of it. The work they do and have always done has been so important, not just to the DC area, but, to the world, to say the least. I wouldn't be where I am without the writers over at the Washington Post, and I hope, cooler heads prevail and that this is figured out, because, you lose the Post and the Post sports section, it starts an avalanche, and I don't like where that avalanche is heading whatsoever.
Well, dude, the other part that I think is crazy is, like, I because I travel and go to games and everything, like, I know who is traveling and going to games for the Post. Like, they have always done everything at the highest levels. Like, I think for most Commanders games, Skins games over the years, they would send 3 people, right? 2 reporters and a columnist. I think they sent 2 people on the road for baseball. I feel like they haven't really covered the Wiz and kind of local college sports outside of, like, one-off things in a while. But, like, I feel like there could be cost-cutting measures and maintain a level of excellence. Like, I just feel like there's got to be a middle step between all or nothing. And they're not trying that route.
I've always felt like I can, as a blogger, as a internet guy, I can do my job from home, and I've always liked that there's people, boots on the ground doing their job, in the middle of it. I hope you're right that if you have to cut costs or whatever, that they can still do the real writing, and I can still do my silly writing, and that you don't have to get rid of columnists.
Why is it just a sports department that's being affected though?
I don't know, man.
John Oran's going to tell us.
Yeah, you start wondering about that. Like, what is it? Is it something that may be behind the scenes that we're not seeing? And people are getting hurt because of it? You know, I don't know.
I'll be listening.
I don't know. It's just it's almost like hard to fathom in a lot of ways. But
I agree.
Maybe we're incorrect, and the information will change. We don't really know. What do you? A lot of NFL hires going on. What do you think about the Bills getting rid of McDermott just to later promote his offensive coordinator?
Yeah, it's just the year of lateral hires. Steelers did very similar with Mike McCarthy, which is hysterical because we know what Mike McCarthy's capable of, and it's not much. And now
he does win games, dude.
I mean, Tomlin won games too. Didn't win Super Bowls. I think McCarthy is a way worse coach than Tomlin. And Bills just are an unserious organization. They promote the worst drafter of all time, and now they just do a lateral move to make Brady the head coach. Just a very unserious. How about
that owner just roasting Keon Coleman? Was that crazy?
And he's still there.
Crazy.
He's on the roster.
That's bad, man.
Yeah, for as much talent that has been on that team, they're just a joke. Like I feel like we're in a better situation in Washington than Buffalo, and Buffalo has Josh Allen.
Right.
Damn. Says a lot.
Yeah. How crazy are the Giants fans going for the Harbaugh hire?
I mean, it's funny because I think Harbaugh is a great coach. I think most people do. I almost put the Giants in the same tier as the Jets, where I don't trust Giants ownership. I don't think that the Giants can get out of their own way to save their lives. They're not quite the Jets. Nobody's worse than the Jets. They have to watch Sam Darnold win a Super Bowl next week. But no, the Giants are a joke, will always be a joke. They have a good coach now, but they're still the New York Giants.
I think that Harbaugh raises the floor for that team.
He raises everything.
Pretty significantly.
Yeah, you raise it until it comes crumbling down. That's what bad franchises do.
There are 3 jobs remaining: Cardinals, Browns, Raiders.
Yeah.
What's the best? What's the worst?
Dude, that's just the saddest 3. The Browns can't get a 28-year-old coach to come coach there.
Who doesn't call plays. Like that Udinski said no thanks was crazy.
It reminds me of when we had to promote Zorn to be the head coach because everybody else said no. The Browns are pathetic.
That's kind of a good call. Like Jim Schwartz might get the job just because he's there. Like, you know what? Yep. We're going with our defensive guy.
It's crazy how bad the Brown situation is. I would probably say the Raiders has to be the best job just because the number 1 pick, and Tom Brady kind of has a good head on his shoulders. He knows what he's doing out there. And then the Cardinals are still the Cardinals. Kyler is washed. I don't really see them doing anything as long as he's there. And so, yeah, I would say Raiders 1, Cardinals 2, Browns last.
You know what I might do? If the Browns wanted me, the job now, granted, they just lost in the AFC title game, but what Sean Payton, who is, I think, pretty clearly a bit of a jerk, he's incredibly arrogant, but
ego lost them that game, yeah.
But he came to Denver and was like, I don't care about the cap hit, I want Russ Wilson gone. Mm-hmm. And they've had tremendous success despite having a really bad salary cap situation. And they lost all the picks in the Russ Wilson trade before Sean Payton even got there, right?
Yep.
If I was getting offered to coach the Browns, I would say, I understand it's going to be a massive hit this year. I want Deshaun Watson gone. Let's just eliminate this constant whatever that is from the equation.
That's the whole thing about it, though. If you are taking that job, you're probably not a guy of that ilk, of that caliber, where they would give you all of that responsibility. But let's remember, it's only 32 of them. Somebody going to take that damn job.
And, dude, it's my theory where coaches come from one of 3 troughs. There's the strategy schematic guy, there's the leader of men people guy, and then there's the management ownership stooge guy. And that's who Cleveland's going to get.
Hey, if that stooge guy is married to somebody and they say he going to get $8 million a year, baby, go take that damn job.
Yeah.
The poor people of Cleveland, man.
Yeah,
they have just...
we got to run, Nate Dogg. Let me thank you, and we'll talk soon.
All right, thank you, guys. Shout out Jimbo.